Right, take one, is it?
Yeah.
Right, I'm trained in animal plant diseases, and I'm one of the few people, as a scientist, I'm one of the few people who can do the top level genetics like Oxford and Pfizer, which is important because it's complicated. Anyhow, I try this tack. The problem with scientists is they're not all honest. They're like anyone's mate or girlfriend or whatever, they lie too, and they lie for exactly the same reasons: ego, status and money. And unfortunately there's a top gang and they're lying to you, and I'll give you one example of where they're lying. Even though you hear about tests and false tests, the problem is, you okay?
Yeah.
The tests that they now have tests so sensitive that they can find in a haystack. The point is, when you breathe in air, you've got millions of germs going past and they're going through your body. And bacteria in your bloodstream every day. Now, that 50 years ago, they would be in a microbiology lab and they'd have little cultures and they'll separate out the germs and they'll have a look at what strain it was. But they could see what they're looking at. But they've changed that. Because of genetics and because of other high-level technology, they have tests so sensitive that it's completely. The only test that you have an illness, which is, this was standard medical stuff with doctors before the last 50 years, they sort of brainwashed the doctors. The only test was, you've got the illness, you've got the symptoms of the illness. That is the test. If you haven't got the symptoms, you with me? So what they can find one person and say you failed a test, where probably it takes in a spoonful of blood, it probably takes 1 million. But actually the test right through medical history is you've got it, you've got symptoms of it, you've got fevers, you've got headaches, you've got muscle aching, you with me? There's something the doctor can see and you can feel bad about, you've got it. That's the test, that's the only valid test. Now, the same thing is happening in farming. The poor farmers have been losing their cattle for TB tests. Now, it's exactly the same thing. The tests are so sensitive, they can pick up a TB, which is not a virus, but it's a germ, yeah? They can pick that up and the cattle are healthy. And they've killed millions of the poor farmers that are bloody nearly crying. And it's the same, you may have heard a recent story about the alpaca. It's the same thing. They've got tests so sensitive that, you and me, they can find a germ in a haystack. And this is even true with cancer now. Cancer is even worse than this. They can find a cancer cell in your body because the cells of the body are breaking down all the time, yeah? You haven't got cancer unless you've got a malignant tumour and you can touch it and see it. You with me? You haven't got it because when you're going through a rough period in life and your body isn't healthy, it breaks down cells and some get cancer. So they can put a few tubes in you with me, with their microscopes, get one single cancer cell and say, hey, you're going to get cancer. No, you're not. So if I take that back, the test, it's not a question of arguing the toss, false and positives. And I'm Terry from the Harmony Movement. Now I've got to get on and get some leaflets out.